Corporate loophole that the financial elite use to decouple their time from their income is actively closing right now. The institutional system is currently changing the rules of wealth accumulation. And if you do not understand the brutal clinical math in the next 3 minutes of this video today, you will be permanently locked out of the game forever. Every single hour you spend working hard for a predictable salary is actually accelerating your path to poverty. You are losing thousands of dollars this exact month. Your purchasing power is actively melting, and you are entirely blind to the biological mechanism they are using against you. You think your job is your ultimate safety net. You believe that if you just put your head down, grind for 40 hours a week, strictly follow the rules, and wait patiently for that 3% annual raise, you will eventually be free. You are completely delusional. By the end of this exact protocol, I will expose the hidden architecture the 1% uses to escape the rat race permanently. But if you close this video now, you are making a conscious choice to remain a profitable, domesticated victim of a system that was mathematically designed to extract your life force. Society programmed you with a mathematically broken equation from the moment you were born. They told you that hard work equals wealth. This is the single most dangerous financial lie ever constructed by human institutions. If trading your physical labor and time for dollars actually created true freedom, the construction workers, the janitors, and the nurses would be the billionaires of this world. But they are not. Working hard is a linear equation, and the open market operates exponentially. When you trade your finite hours on this earth for a fixed amount of depreciating paper currency, your financial potential is permanently capped by the absolute laws of physics. There are only 24 hours in a single day. You cannot scale your physical body. You cannot scale your time. The institutional system knows this perfectly well, and they designed the modern corporate structure to exploit your biological limitations flawlessly. You are playing a game where the rules were written by the house, and the house never loses. How does the corporate system exploit your time? When you sign a standard employment contract, you are engaging in the most asymmetrical, parasitic trade in human existence. You are literally selling the most valuable, non-renewable asset in the universe, your time, in exchange for a fiat currency that the central banks print infinitely for free. You do not own the product of your labor. You do not own the equity. You do not own the infrastructure. You are simply renting out your brain to build a massive, cash-flowing asset that someone else owns entirely. If you help a corporation generate $1 million in new revenue this quarter, they might give you a $5,000 bonus, a cheap plastic trophy, and a round of applause. They keep the equity. They keep the leverage. You absorb all the biological stress, the daily commute, and the macroeconomic inflation risk. It is a completely one-sided trade where you take all the physiological damage and they harvest all the financial upside. You are not a partner. You are a highly optimized operational expense on their balance sheet. Most intelligent, educated people defend their jobs by pointing to their high salary. They say they make $150,000 a year, so they are incredibly safe. But a high salary is just a thicker, heavier set of golden handcuffs. The 40-hour work week was never designed to give you balance. It was mathematically designed during the Industrial Revolution to extract maximum efficiency from a human body before it physically broke down. The system extracts your cognitive energy from 9 to 5, leaving you with just enough mental bandwidth to drive home, order fast food, and watch a glowing screen until you pass out. You do not have the energy left to build your own systems. You do not have the focus required to study the open market. You are exhausted by design. They need you tired because a tired population does not build competing assets. A tired population just consumes. What is the dark psychology of the paycheck? Let us look at the clinical, behavioral psychology of your paycheck. In the 1950s, Harvard psychologist B.F. Skinner conducted groundbreaking experiments on operant conditioning. He placed rats in a dark box with a simple lever. When the rat pressed the lever, a pellet of food dropped out. Skinner discovered that if he gave the rat a predictable, fixed amount of food at a highly predictable time, the rat became incredibly docile. The animal learned the exact minimum amount of physical effort required to survive. It stopped exploring the corners of the cage. It stopped trying to escape the box entirely. It became entirely dependent on the dispenser. Your corporate salary is a perfectly executed fixed ratio schedule. You show up for 40 hours, you press the corporate lever, you receive your bi-weekly paycheck. The system does not pay you enough to buy your absolute freedom, because if you were completely free, you would immediately stop pressing their lever. But they also do not pay you so little that you starve, because a starving animal is dangerous, angry, and unpredictable. They pay you the exact, calculated mathematical amount required to tranquilize your primitive survival instinct. Pause and write this down right now. This is the truth that hurts. The predictability of your salary anesthetizes your ambition. It creates an intense biological illusion of safety that prevents you from taking the massive, asymmetrical risks required to actually build a generational empire. You are not an employee. You are a domesticated asset yielding dividends for someone else's portfolio. The middle class is the most dangerous psychological place to exist because it is a padded cell. If you are in absolute poverty, your survival instinct forces you to fight. If you are wealthy, you have leverage. But the middle class is comfortable enough to survive, yet completely terrified of missing a single paycheck. You are living in a permanent state of low-grade anxiety disguised as financial stability. Is the middle-class lifestyle a financial trap? But here is where the trap snaps completely shut. Even when highly intelligent people figure out the math of the salary trap, they immediately fall into the next biological snare: the lifestyle illusion. When you finally get that massive promotion, when you transition from making $60,000 to $200,000, your brain betrays you. This is the clinical phenomenon of hedonic adaptation. Your primitive ego demands that you signal your newly acquired status to the rest of the tribe. You lease the luxury German sports car. You sign a massive 30-year mortgage for a house with 3 extra bedrooms you do not even use. You buy the designer clothes. You increase your operational lifestyle costs in direct, parallel proportion to your new income. You make $200,000 a year, but your lifestyle requires $195,000 a year just to maintain the facade. Mathematically, your net worth is completely identical to the teenager working at a local fast food restaurant. You have not built wealth. You have just built a significantly more expensive, heavily decorated prison. You cannot leave the corporate job you actively hate because you have a massive monthly burn rate just to look successful to strangers in traffic who do not care about you. This is the absolute arrogance of the educated and broke. The banking system loves it when you get a raise because they know your fragile ego will immediately borrow money from their institutions to buy things you do not need. You remain a highly profitable slave, but now you wear nicer clothes. You trade your actual freedom for synthetic status. When money comes in as a lump sum and leaves in dozens of tiny invisible fragments, rent, car payments, subscriptions, insurance, your brain never fully grasps that you are just treading water. What is the exact cost of your inaction today? Every single day you delay killing your ego and stepping out of this matrix, the open market mercilessly punishes you. The cost of your inaction today is absolutely devastating. While you are sitting in traffic, worrying about toxic office politics, and saving pennies on a cheap cup of coffee, the real macroeconomic inflation rate is secretly destroying your purchasing power. Fiat currency you are bleeding your life force to acquire is losing its value by the second. Your savings account is a melting block of ice. If you do not execute a sovereign financial protocol today, you will be forced to work until you are 75 years old, relying on a broken, mathematically insolvent government pension system that will absolutely not exist when you actually need it. You are running out of time. The rules of capital have permanently changed. Artificial intelligence, automation, and aggressive corporate consolidation are wiping out middle management jobs by the millions. The middle class is being systematically erased from the global economy. You either become an owner of assets or you become completely obsolete. There's no longer a safe middle ground. If you rely on a single source of income that requires your constant physical presence, you are exactly one medical emergency or one corporate layoff away from total financial ruin. You are operating with a single point of failure, and the math guarantees it will eventually break. How do the 1% escape the salary treadmill? The 1%, the actual architects of the global financial system, do not play this game. They refuse to trade time for money. They trade money to build systems, and they trade systems to buy back their time. They operate exclusively on the ultimate wealth equation, value multiplied by leverage. They build scalable businesses. They acquire equity. They buy cash-flowing real estate and hoard broad index funds. They focus obsessively on creating asymmetrical assets that reproduce capital independently while they sleep. They practice absolute upfront allocation. The moment capital enters their ecosystem, it is violently divided. It flows directly into investment accounts before they ever see it in their checking account. They artificially create scarcity in their daily lives to ensure massive abundance in their net worth. They have ruthlessly murdered their middle-class ego. They do not care if they look poor in the short term, because their absolute only objective is to be completely untouchable in the long term. They endure the severe psychological discomfort of living far below their means to hoard the ammunition of liquid capital. And when the market inevitably crashes, and the over-leveraged middle class is forced to liquidate their toys to survive, the elite use their cold, hard cash to buy the world for pennies on the dollar. They decouple their physical time from their income generation. You have a binary choice right now. You can close this video, go back to your corporate job tomorrow, press the lever, and remain a highly profitable victim of an institutional system designed to extract your life force until you die. Or you can wake up. You can stop chasing pathetic 3% raises. You can freeze your lifestyle, aggressively lower your synthetic status, and redirect every single dollar of your surplus into buying your own freedom. You must transition from the mindset of a reactive consumer who begs for a salary to the mindset of a sovereign owner who builds equity. The salary trap is only inescapable if you willingly refuse to see the iron bars of the cage. Hit the subscribe button as your absolute declaration of sovereignty. Check the links in the description to access the exact toolkits the elite use to structure their capital. The rules have changed. Master the game or be played by it forever. See you in the next protocol.